All right. What is going on? My name is Dan Parker, and this channel is all about living your best life here in San Diego. This week, we have a very special guest on, Mr. JJ Manikes, otherwise known as Mr. Jaycation himself. He has a very successful YouTube channel, mostly about San Diego, his hometown, everything that you need to know, either traveling here or living here. And he also travels all around the world as well. So that's what his channel is about. Highly suggest that you go and check it out. And the topic for today was based on what you guys wanted us to talk about. So if I can pull it up here, I ran a poll, and what you guys want us to talk about were the best neighborhoods in San Diego. So that's exactly what we're talking about. Whether you're looking for a neighborhood to live in or a neighborhood to find the best restaurants, the best beaches, all that stuff, that is the topic for today. So Mr. Jaycation, how you doing today?
Dan, how's it going? Thanks for having me on your show, and looking forward to talking San Diego with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Very excited to have you on. So like I said, the topic for today is going to be the best neighborhoods. So let's just get right into this, because here's a cool thing about San Diego. If you don't know that much about San Diego, maybe you visited once or twice, you have the city of San Diego that's like, 1.4 million people. And then you have San Diego County, that's 3.3 million people. And then all throughout, you have different cities, you have different neighborhoods, and every single one kind of has its own flair and excitement. And that's one of the things that I think is really special about San Diego. I think it's probably one of the reasons why your channel is so freaking successful too, because there's so many places that you can talk about. So just start out, I'm going to go with a really easy question for you. When you're going out and you're hanging out with friends or exploring San Diego, what are some of your favorite neighborhoods?
Ooh, right off the bat, right now, one of my favorite neighborhoods is Little Italy. I think that Little Italy is just so lively, especially in the afternoons when the weather's perfect like it is right now today. Well, a little windy today, but
It's a little
they have a
windy.
lot of great stuff over there. All the restaurants are nice, a little pricier, but I mean, that's what you're gonna get over in Little Italy, and some of the bars are pretty cool. They have that Wolfie's Carousel bar, and then some nice piazzas you could hang out at. So it's a cool area.
Yeah. I guess we could just get right into the reason why Little Italy is so great. At least for me, it's the best place in San Diego for food. Like you said, maybe a little bit pricier, date night, hanging out with some good friends that you haven't seen in a while. It is a really, really good spot for that. You can kind of, you can explore different restaurants. You can go restaurant hopping, you can go bar hopping. There's wineries, there's breweries. There's a little bit of everything over there.
Yeah, I mean, you could even get to the Embarcadero from there, and it's only about a 10-minute walk. And it's just it's nice and nestled between the gas lamp and the airport for the tourists that don't know. And it's just a nice area. It's really relaxing, and that's where if you want to go people watching, that's the place to go.
Yeah, that's definitely a good place to go, people watching. And I know you talk a lot on your channel about downtown San Diego and like the places to visit. And I think people that don't know a lot about San Diego, they think, all right, I have to stay in downtown. That's where to be. But really, my suggestion would be, and I'm curious if you feel the same way, is like you go to Little Italy. It's adjacent. It's downtown adjacent, or maybe technically part of downtown San Diego. But that's like, it's where the locals go hang out. The locals don't really go hang out downtown. It's like Little Italy is where it's at.
I agree 100%. I mean, gas lamp is, I just talked about in my last video about how it's definitely a tourist trap, but sometimes people don't have a choice but to party over there because that's where a majority of the clubs are, and the hotels are over that way. But what people don't know is you can hop a Fred, one of those free little golf carts, and head over to Little Italy, and it's literally 3 minutes from the gas lamp if you get on an Uber or a Lyft.
You said a free golf cart? Is that what you said? Is that the downtown?
It's called Fred.
Okay.
And it's basically like a free service. You can tip you tip the driver and all that, but it's like those smaller golf cart looking vehicles. But the only thing you're gonna get with that is they're not really that efficient. There's only a couple cars out there, and like unlike Uber where it's a priority to get picked up, they'll eventually get to you. But if you're on a time crunch, that's what you get for a free app and a free service. So
Yeah, and if you're kind of going like around those areas, if you're taking an Uber or a Lyft, it's really not going to be that expensive. It's going to be pretty dang affordable.
Yep.
They also have do they still have the little, not the carts, the little mopeds or whatever down there, little scooters downtown.
Oh,
They
the
still
little
have those.
bird scooters? I think so, yeah. The only thing is, like, they charge you a lot for just going, like, a little bit ways, so I
Yeah.
don't like using it.
Yeah, they're fun, but they actually are, especially if you're with a group of people, they end up being more expensive than Ubers or Lyft. But it's, San Diego, you got the nice weather. It's nice to go around to the different areas. So that can be a fun way to get around down there.
Yeah, yeah,
What,
definitely, and there's also all-day rentals too, so
yeah. So as far as Little Italy, let's just get right into the other thing that I really want to ask about, which is the food. Like, what are some of your favorite restaurants in Little Italy?
Little Italy. I mean, off the top of my head, I like Ironside for their happy hour. They have some amazing oysters over there, and their cocktail selection is pretty good. So I like that
Lobster
spot.
roll there is insane. It's really good. That's one of those places, either go for happy hour and get the good happy hour, or you're going to pay. It's pretty dang expensive if you don't go during happy hour, but a great overall experience. And also make sure to get reservations if you can, because a lot of times when I
Yep.
go there, it's like, oh, we're booked up for the night. It's 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. I'm sorry, we're booked up for the night.
Yep. That place gets packed, and I can
Yeah.
see why.
And then what else you got? Little Italy.
Um, let's see. This is more of like a pizza place. I think I covered it in one of my pizza videos. Landini's. It's more of
Oh,
like a New York style pizza spot. It's right after Felipe's, and
yep.
they have some really legit New York pizza style slices.
Yeah. Do you know what the history is of Little Italy? It's kind of fun.
It used to be like a fishing village, right? Portuguese fishermen used to live over there, or something like that.
So, as far as I understand, and I could totally be butchering this, San Diego was the tuna capital of the world for a while. We did a lot. We had canneries here for tuna, and a big portion of the people that worked at the cannery were Italians, and they all migrated to this area, and that's why it ended up being Little Italy. So originally, it was like 10, 15 years ago, it was just Italian restaurants down there. And it wasn't, it was a cool area, but it was what it was. And then like some celebrity chefs opened up some restaurants down there. And then it became the new poppin' place for food in San Diego. So everything from, like I was saying before, like wine, beer. Have you been to Morning Glory?
Oh yeah, I had those souffle pancakes. Those are to
Dude.
die for.
Yeah, I would say hands down that is the best brunch in San Diego. You're gonna have a wait.
Oh
If you
yeah,
get the day open, you're gonna have a 3 hour wait probably, but it is so worth it. It is an absolute experience that's worth checking out.
brunch with a view. So I
Brunch with the
definitely
view.
recommend that spot.
They have like a champagne dispenser of like nice champagne. Do you remember
I
that
saw
thing?
that. Yeah, I put that in my video. I put that on my Valentine's Day video, I believe. It's
It's
pretty
a very
cool.
Instagrammable brunch spot, but totally worth checking out. All right. Well, we need to talk about other neighborhoods besides Little Italy, but that's a great start because that's for sure one of my favorite places in San Diego. And if I were looking to live somewhere that was like, really walkable lifestyle, you know, especially like business professional, a little bit younger, want to be more active, that is a great place to live. So you're not gonna have a single family home. You're gonna probably be in a condo, and it's gonna be like in a building that's a little bit more dense. But the walkability, the opportunities to meet people, you're right next to Balboa Park, you're right next to downtown. Like there's so much there. It's a really really cool area. All right. So that's one of the areas that you like to just hang out in if you were spending time hanging out. I know you just did a video on all the mistakes that tourists make when coming to San Diego. What are some of the areas that tourists should and shouldn't go to? Like, what are the best neighborhoods for them to go to and the worst neighborhoods for them to go to?
I mean, I always say that, especially somebody that's never been to San Diego or even on the West Coast. I've had East Coast friends come over here, and the first thing I do is take them over to La Jolla because, I mean, La Jolla Cove is just, I know it's the most touristy place to take somebody, but the terrain of the cliffs and the coves, seeing everyone kayak over there, And then you have a mixture of Prospect Street, so you're kind of seeing like uh, it's like, I wouldn't say Beverly Hills, but I mean, it's the rich part of San Diego. So it's really cool area to check out some of the coffee spots. They have some really good brunch places there as well. So I would definitely start off with La Jolla and the La Jolla Cove area.
Well, I'm trying to do my new fancy iPad. I'm trying to draw on it, but it's not working for me right now. So La Jolla is a great place to go. Oh, there we go. I don't. Okay, now it's super delayed. La Jolla, San Diego. Yeah, some of the best views in San Diego. There's no question. You kind of get these, like, I would say that is the best sunset in San Diego when you go over to the cliffs in La Jolla. Another great thing about La Jolla is it's part of the marine biology lab at the university over there. So the waters there are protected. So you see all of this marine life that you won't see anywhere else. I always say tiger sharks, but it's leopard sharks. The leopard sharks
yeah,
are over there. And there are certain times a year where there's like hundreds of them. And they're not, from what I understand, they're not super dangerous. But you could see the Garibaldi fish. You could see, which is our state fish. You could see all sorts of different, like, cool marine wildlife that you can't find in other areas. So yeah, La Jolla is really great. And then all the restaurants too. I mean, it feels a little bit more touristy, and the shopping there is like really high end, really expensive, but it's great. It's a really, really cool area.
Yeah, I love going to the Dukes over there. I know in
Oh yeah.
Waikiki, that's a classic place to go, right? But
Yep.
there's just always something about Dukes, so I like going to that spot.
Yeah, that's a great spot. All right, so Juan, watching from Tucson, Arizona. I almost said Tuscan, but I know that that's not right.
Tucson.
All right, so Dan the Man. All right, great name. Any tips for first-time homebuyer in San Diego? Yes, for sure. We'll get into the homebuyer stuff. We definitely, this channel is about moving to San Diego, living in San Diego, all about living your best life here. So this episode is a little bit more about the different neighborhoods, but we'll definitely get into some of that as well. Let's see. Who is your favorite Spice Girl? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Jay, Jay, do you have an answer for that? I don't even know if I can.
Oh, for me, it's 110% Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham.
Yes. Okay. Ditto.
Hands
So
down.
that was what I was thinking of, but I couldn't remember her name. So yes.
Yep.
Posh Spice.
Posh Spice.
All right. Dan the Man in San Diego, Pacific Beach. Love it. Thanks for joining us, man. And then a couple of people agreeing as far as Little Italy. So always bustling with people, super walkable, lots to do. Star Platinum. I think you're on the East Coast, right? Star Platinum tunes into a lot of our lives.
Orlando. Yeah.
Is it Orlando?
He's a Jaycationer as well.
Oh, you're right. He is in Orlando because he knows my buddy Ken Pozek, who is a Orlando YouTuber out there. That's right.
Nice.
All right. And then what about Allied Gardens in San Carlos area? What do you think, Jay?
You know, my only experience in that area was playing baseball in like Patrick Henry. I know there's the Lake Murray over there, which is really nice. So Lake Murray's cool. There's definitely a few sketchy spots around Allied Gardens, San Carlos. But there are a few nice eateries over there. I know one of the better Philly cheesesteak spots. Is it? It's not Giordano's. It's Gaglione Brothers. Gaglione Brothers.
Okay.
It's kind of over like on the border of San Carlos and Mission Gorge area. That's pretty good. And there's a Vaughn's shopping center over off of Mission Gorge, and there's a barbecue place there that I remember going to. I forget the name doesn't ring a bell right now. I'd have to look on my phone, but that place is cool. And then there's a spot called I think it's called Seven Cafe. They have really good avocado toast.
Oh, okay. Going very millennial with us here with the avocado toast.
Avocado toast.
So these are actually some of my favorite areas, especially for first-time homebuyers in San Diego. I think they're really great. So the areas you're talking about is where I zoomed in on the map here. It's surrounded. These are the neighborhoods that surround Mission Trails Regional Park. So some of the best hiking in San Diego, some of the best mountain biking trails are in Mission Trails Regional Park. And what's great is these are areas that are never going to be built on. So you could be backed up to the park, and there's a lot of free open space. A lot of these homes were built in the like 70s and have been since renovated. And it's one of the few places in San Diego where it's like a very nice, safe neighborhood that is, you can find homes just under the $1 million mark for single family homes. And they're really beautiful, really nice homes, really nice neighborhoods. So I work with a lot of people over in this. A lot of times, like if someone's considering moving to San Diego, they have no idea about these communities, but they're kind of, in my mind, like hidden gems. And then like Jay was saying, that you have Lake Murray over here as well. It's just really cool. I like these areas a lot. Now it's not walkable, and that's what I think a lot of people want when they're moving to San Diego. So what would you say are some of the best walkable neighborhoods here in San Diego?
Ooh, I want to stick with the beach area. I really dig Encinitas.
Oh yeah.
Encinitas is, in my opinion, I think that's a really walkable area of San Diego. And there's a lot of cool bars and restaurants there as well. And you also have the meditation gardens up there. And Encinitas, Solana Beach, I think those two are my favorite walkable beach towns.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. So my wife and I, we lived in La Mesa, and in October we moved up to Encinitas. So that's where we live now, and it is awesome. It's a really cool, it's an affluent area, but it's not stuffy like some of the other areas are. So it's a really cool beach community, really nice restaurants. It very much has that laid back surfer vibe, and it's great. It's great. It's an awesome place to live. It's an awesome place to visit. Plus, they have taco stand up here. You've been to taco stand.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Oh man, it is. I think they were just rated, I want to say, on Yelp for best tacos in San Diego, and
Yeah.
I understand why. Their prices are actually really affordable. They make the tortillas fresh in house. They have the pork. Is it the adobada or what's with the pineapple? Oh, it's gonna.
I think that is, the adobada, the al pastor. I think
Al pastor, yeah, al pastor. Oh, it's so good. So yeah, I like those areas a lot. Okay, so those would be the walkable communities. So like I said, I get a lot of people reaching out and saying, what are the walkable communities in San Diego? You obviously have the beach communities. So you have, Encinitas and Solana Beach, Del Mar, Oceanside, Pacific Beach, La Jolla, Point Loma. You have all these different beach communities. Either buying or renting a house, it's going to be pricey. Like those are the exclusive areas in San Diego, the areas that people come to San Diego for. And for sure, not everyone can afford it, especially depending on like what type of lifestyle you live and how big of a house do you need, and are you going to buy or are you going to rent? Besides the beach communities, where else can you find walkability in San Diego?
What I'm really digging lately is the area of South Park. I really like South Park, and then it bleeds into North Park eventually, and North Park is very walkable. And Golden Hill. Those are my three right now, I'd say, really cool walkable areas.
So you're talking about right here on the kind of east side of Balboa Park. So I always kind of say, when people are talking about walkable communities, it's basically the communities surrounding Balboa Park. So you have, like you just mentioned, Golden Hill, South Park, North Park, Hillcrest, Bankers Hill, and then it could even extend out to Mission Hills. You have University Heights, Normal Heights, Kensington. Those are the areas that I think in San Diego that are walkable. And really, besides the beach communities, that's kind of it, right? Like, are there any other walkable communities that you can think of besides that?
Besides the beach communities and that part of San Diego, everywhere else, like North County, inland, you need a car, basically. Yeah. Unless you're like in one of those newer neighborhoods where they have everything downstairs. But
yeah, there's that. So I guess you could argue that somewhere like Mission Valley is is walkable, because you have a lot of shops and you have a lot of things to do over there, and a lot of these newer communities have like a big park in the middle and things to do. But it's not what you think. Like, you and me and locals aren't gonna say that's a walkable community. We're not, because you don't have the small coffee shops and the small restaurants and just that local feel. The only other part of San Diego that I could think of that like has a little bit of walkability is La Mesa. They have a cool little
Mhm.
downtown area. It's small. It's maybe 3 blocks, but they have some cool little local spots. Have you spent some time out over in La Mesa?
Oh yeah, definitely. I used to visit a camera shop around the old town, the old area of La Mesa, and there's this cafe. I think it's called the Pink Rose Cafe, where they have nothing but pink and red roses all over the walls. And I put that in one of my hidden gems videos. So yeah, there's a really cool area. That's a really cool area. You can find like the hidden steps in the neighborhoods over there that are like multicolored. And you got what's the high school there? Mount Helix.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
that's a pretty cool high school. I've done a couple of events over at their football field, and I think that's where a couple of famous San Diego football players went to high school. Reggie Bush and Alex Smith, I believe.
I
So
did not know that. I'm not a big football guy, but
yeah,
that's really cool stats to know. But yeah, there's definitely some things to like about that area, and I think you hit a lot of those on the nose. On the nose? Is that's a
yeah,
saying, right?
on the button, on the nose. I think that's about right.
Yeah.
Right now, what's in my nose is all my allergies here in the spring.
Oh
It's
no,
starting to act
hitting
up.
you hard right now.
Yeah, I got a rose garden right in front of me, so I think that's what's getting me.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help. And Star Platinum did confirm he is in Orlando.
I remember Star Platinum.
All right, Ambrosi. Am I saying that right?
Ambrose.
Ambrose. Yes, that sounds much better. Can you talk about San Marcos area? I recently saw a beautiful hilltop property with expansive views, and the prices were surprisingly low. Do you have any thoughts on this, Jay?
That's where a lot of my friends that used to live here in Mira Mesa that I grew up with, they started their young families. Two of my best friends have houses up in San Marcos, and that I mean, at the time, that was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. That was where you can get cheaper housing, but I think San Marcos has kind of become more expensive, and now you have to go to Fallbrook if you want to, get the cheaper rates for houses. But I like San Marcos, but it's definitely wouldn't be a walkable area. It's definitely a car. You definitely need a car to get around there.
Yeah, I think like you were saying, there's a barbecue spot over there. There's cool little restaurants and coffee shops, but they're spread out. Like, you're not going to be walking to them. But just like I was saying before, as far as the area surrounding Mission Trails Regional Park, you have San Marcos is probably my favorite, but Lake Murray, Allied Gardens, what else am I forgetting over there? Tierra Santa. All those areas I really, really like. And a lot of times for me, it is first time home buyers, and they're looking for good value in the city of San Diego. Like, you're still in the city of San Diego. You get all the perks of being in the city of San Diego. And it's not as expensive. I think it's a little bit cheaper than even like Claremont, but I would say the neighborhoods feel nicer than Claremont when you're driving through them. They're a little bit more landscaped. The homes are a little bit more well kept in general. But yeah, I personally really like the area, and it's an area that I kind of push a lot of my clients to check out
Are
when
you,
they
are you
want.
talking about San Carlos?
Oh, geez, yeah.
San Carlos? I was like, oh, he's talking about East.
That's why I have you on here, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Yes, I absolutely was talking about San Carlos. I appreciate
San
it.
Carlos, San Marcos, they all end with an S.
And they're both like, they were kind of the affordable areas in San Diego.
Yeah.
But yeah, so San Marcos, I'm going to pull up the map here real quick. So San Marcos, if you look here, is going to be up here at the top of San Diego. So this is like really North County. It's not quite Temecula or Fallbrook, like Jay was saying. We have San Marcos up here. Yeah, so San Marcos is cool. Definitely not walkable. The one area, though, Jay, have you been to San Elijo Hills in San Marcos?
Yeah, a couple of times. I have a friend that lived over there. I've been there a few times.
No,
Nice area.
area, and it has like a little walkable kind of city center. It's newer homes. Yeah, San Marcos used to be you go to San Marcos because you could get a home for $600 or $700,000, a single family home. Now they're $1 million. And
Yep.
I mean, you might be able to get just under that. The market definitely is shifting right now. I can tell you just this week, it has shifted a lot because interest rates shot up 3 weeks ago. So I think that we're going to probably get maybe just below the $1 million mark moving forward. But, it kind of depends what you're looking for. But yeah, there are definitely great parts of San Marcos, and definitely some parts of San Marcos that are not as great. So you kind of want to know, like,
Agreed.
I know parts south of the 78 there are going to be in general a little bit nicer, and then north it's going to be a little bit more hit or miss.
Yeah. Especially once you get into Escondido and you bleed into that area, it can get a little dicey in some parts.
Yep, for sure. Graham wishes there was more housing in Encinitas. I wish there was more housing all over San Diego. I have friends out in Houston, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think they have about the same population as San Diego County, and they have 14,000 homes for sale. San Diego County, a population of 3.35 million people, and we have 1,700 homes for sale. And it's
Good
like
Lord.
bonkers. So it's
Yep.
tough. It's tough for everyone out there. But I like I was just saying, I really do think that that's starting to change. It's starting to come around a little bit here. Carl says Encinitas, Solana Beach aren't too far north like the other parts of North County, which is also nice. You're still 10, 15 minutes away from UTC. Yeah, I agree. My wife and I were considering moving to Oceanside because we really like Oceanside. I think it has a really cool downtown area. In fact, hey, here's a plug. My video on Friday that I'm releasing is going to be all about Oceanside with my wife, Stephanie, and it's really a fun video. But the reason we didn't is because I'm a real estate agent and I work all over San Diego, and Oceanside just felt a little bit too far. Even Carlsbad felt a little
Yeah.
bit far. But Encinitas, I could get to downtown in 30 minutes, no problem. Or if I don't want to drive, I'm going to an event at Petco Park or downtown. I could literally just hop on the coaster, take the train, boom, 30 minutes downtown, and it's really nice.
That coaster is awesome, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it's so convenient for people like us that live in North County. Because I live off of the Sereno Valley one. So
Oh,
I'm actually going to go to opening day tomorrow, and I'm going to hop the coaster to downtown.
nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty new to it, right? So we just moved up here in October. You have to be on the coast for it to actually make sense and for it to be useful. Back when I was over in La Mesa, it really didn't do much for me. So I'm
Yep.
happy to have the opportunity to use it now. And we have family up in Orange County, so if we wanted to take that up, we could do that. Yeah, it's a great thing if you can utilize it. Star Platinum knows more about San Diego than Orlando, thanks to us. I think you need to watch more Fun Posts channel, and you can learn more about Orlando. Star, are you planning to move out here, or you just really like San Diego? I'm curious. Feed is bad. I did hear it getting a little bit choppy there. For a second. Hopefully, it's starting to get better now. University Heights is awesome and walkable. Yeah, so that's like we were talking about the area surrounding Balboa Park. University Heights is one of those communities, and maybe not quite as expensive as North Park, but it's pretty dang close. The
That's a good
problem
area.
it's a very good area. The problem with those areas is if you're looking to rent, it's expensive. If you're looking to buy, it's expensive, but also really old homes. I mean, literally 100-year-old homes that are small rooms. A lot of times the foundation is a little bit sideways. You can put a ball in the middle of the room, it'll just roll to the side. And there's, potential problems and issues that you can find with those older homes. They're charming and they have a ton of character, but they're old. They're old. Old Town Vista is pretty walkable. Have you spent much time in Vista?
Vista is a part of San Diego I haven't explored as much. I've been to the Mission, San Luis Rey over there. And yeah, I know there's a few wineries spread out around Vista, but yeah, I haven't really ventured around that area.
I'm, I guess, a little bit kind of the same. It's definitely not one of the areas that I've spent the most time in San Diego, but there's a lot I like about Vista. It does have a cool downtown area that they're like building up, and there's also a new, and the name of it's escaping me, but there's like this huge build out up in Vista right now. That's going to be really great once it's finally completed. I always tell people, because I get asked a lot, like, what are the up and coming neighborhoods in San Diego? And I'd be curious what your thoughts are on this, Jay. But the two places that always come to mind to me are like Oceanside and Vista. I think they have so much potential. What would you say? What do you think would be upcoming neighborhoods in San Diego?
You hit on the first two for sure.
Yeah.
I think like as we keep building outwards, right? I think those outer San Diego County neighborhoods are the ones that are going to become the up and coming neighborhoods. Like 5 years from now, we'll be talking about Fallbrook being a really cool place to hang out.
Yeah.
And I think, Otay Mesa as well. There's going to be more over in that area. I mean, they just opened up the new amusement park in Otay Mesa, so there's still room to build out around those areas.
Yeah, Otay Mesa, it has the most room for expansion of anywhere in San Diego. So, 10 years ago, no one would ever tell you to move down to Otay Mesa. But now we're getting to the point where it's like the beautiful homes down there. I hate to say anything in San Diego is affordable, but affordable on San Diego standards as far as big new home, and for what you get for it. So yeah, there's the Melrose tax that goes into building up the local community. So when you buy that new construction home, you're gonna have extra tax for the next 20, 25, 30 years. It's always a specific period of time, usually around 20 or 25 years. And that's to help build all that stuff up, putting new shopping centers, put in good schools. So we're really going to start to see those areas develop over the next 10 to 20 years. It's going to be fun to see,
Yeah. And Santee too, East County. I think a lot of people are starting. I've met a lot more people out and about saying, "Oh, we moved to Santee because that's where we could afford a place." So
yeah,
it gets a bad rap locally in the past, especially on the news. But I think Santee eventually.
I'm glad
There'll
that
be
you
more
mentioned that, because for sure it's like there's some bad nicknames about that place, and it's known for not being a great place to live in. But all my experience since I've lived in San Diego, Santee's always been nice. There's it's an opportunity for people to get in an area that's a little bit more affordable without going too far east. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that is definitely one of the up and coming areas. I know there's some new construction going over there, and it's one of the few places that's kind of central that is getting new construction communities. Now, none of them are huge. We're talking a community of, anywhere from 12 to like 40 homes, which is like, we need 35,000 new homes every year in San Diego, and we're only building 10,000. So we're talking like, maybe, 50 or 60 homes a year being built over there. But they're really nice. I have some clients that are in contract with new construction out there for 1.3 million in Santee.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's an absolutely wonderful house and wonderful area, but I never would have thought that a couple of years ago that someone would spend 1.3 million for a new home in Santee.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's see. I want to pull up here. So I have, and this is one of the recommendations that I have for you guys. If you are looking for neighborhoods in San Diego, niche.com is kind of a cool resource, and they can rank the different parts of San Diego or wherever, anywhere in the US. You can put in a location, and they will rank it based off of public schools, housing, how good it is for families, diversity, nightlife, crime and safety. It's user reviewed. There's a lot of really fun information in here. So I'm not going to go through everything on this. But what I did want to do is they have a list of the best neighborhoods to live in San Diego. And Jay and I are going to see how we feel about this list. So I'm going to go through, and then we can kind of start to give our opinions. So I'm going to list a couple because I think these are kind of small communities. I would love to just go by city, but then it would put the city of San Diego all in one bucket. And you just can't do that in San Diego. But so Torrey Pines, Torrey Hills, Del Mar Mesa, Villa de la Valle, Carmel Valley, and La Jolla. So we're talking about Carmel Valley and La Jolla mostly, like kind of that blob. What would you say about those areas, Jay?
I like the Del Mar Heights, like Torrey Hills area. I think that's more up and coming, and I would say when you creep into Carmel Valley, there's some stuff going on around there too. But that all those seem to be condensed within this circle, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. So I would say if your budget can afford these areas, these are wonderful areas. These are probably some of the, I mean, just like this list says, they're probably some of the nicest areas in San Diego. As you can see on here, I can't give my opinion on schools because as a real estate agent, I'm just not allowed to give my opinion. But as you can see on here, all of these have very high ranked school areas based on their ranking system. And that is, it also brings up the price of housing. And they're expensive. So the most expensive neighborhoods and zip codes in San Diego are actually not in the city of San Diego. It's in North County. So you have Rancho Santa Fe, Carmel Valley, La Jolla. Those are like some of the most expensive parts of San Diego, and that's a lot of the places that they're listing here. So they're great, but majority of people living in San Diego are not going to be able to afford a nice house in those areas. Miramar Ranch North, University City. Those are some cool areas.
University City is an area that that's actually when I was the house I was born. Well, I wasn't born in the house, but the house I was taken home to was in University City. So
Okay.
being a native San Diegan, my first place I ever lived in as a baby was University City. So
That's a
I
cool
like the
little
area.
That's a cool little pocket, and it's going to be more on the affordable side than some of these other areas that we just mentioned. I mean, probably pretty significantly more affordable, very central. I don't know, you probably wouldn't consider that North County, but starting to get into North County.
A little
Uh,
bit,
yeah,
not really, but with the trolley, the blue line extending over to
yeah,
UTC, I
just have
think it's gotten a lot more lively. I was there last Friday, and I noticed a lot more like UCSD students are out and about because they can take the bus, take the trolley. So I noticed a little more liveliness in that area.
yeah, it's one of the areas that I would definitely recommend for people if it's within their budget. And then we'll just stick with these last couple here. So Rancho Penasquitos, Rancho Bernardo, and Pacific Highlands Ranch. Any thoughts on that area?
A lot of great places to raise a family. You got Mount Carmel High, Rancho Bernardo High, really, and there's a couple of private schools around there. Westview. I think if you're gonna move to a neighborhood and you want your kids to go through a nice public school, I think that's the area to live in for sure.
Yeah, these are very sought after school districts. And this is kind of like where the tech hubs are in San Diego. So when I get a lot of people moving here that are in tech and they're relocating for work, a lot of times these are the neighborhoods that they're looking in. So fantastic neighborhoods. Really, a lot of times what it comes down to is what is your budget and how close do you need to be to your work or where you're going. If you are looking for a place in San Diego, again, whether you're renting or buying, like that's kind of where you need to start. And if this falls within your budget, Rancho Penasquitos, Rancho Bernardo, go for it. These are great areas. The downside is you're a little bit farther from like the beach if you really want to be close to the ocean, but
Yeah,
quality neighborhoods for sure.
you hop to 56, you could be at La Jolla in like 20 minutes. La Jolla
Yeah.
and Del Mar. So it's not bad.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so then let's see. Oceanside is the best and moderately affordable. Yeah, I agree. The two most affordable beach communities are going to be Oceanside and Imperial Beach. And personally, I'd much rather live in Oceanside because of that backflow issue from TJ.
Oh yeah. And Oceanside, there are really nice spots that are up and coming over there, but you also got to watch out for some of the pockets where it's still pretty sketchy.
Yeah, for sure. That's a very good point. But there for sure are some great little restaurants going in. Have you been
Hmm.
to SHOOTZ?
Not yet. No, I don't think I've heard it.
Highly recommend. It's probably one of my favorite chefs in San Diego. It's a fast casual fish spot inside of a bottle craft.
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah.
you've been to bottle craft, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
one of the best craft beer spots in San Diego that isn't just like a one brewery. They have their they have their tap room, and then they have the Shoots restaurant inside of it, and they have this really great back patio area. So that's like one of our favorite new restaurants here in San Diego.
I'll have to check that out. I also like Craft Coast over in Oceanside. That's a good
Ooh, I
spot.
haven't been there. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, real near the station over there, the Oceanside station.
Okay, cool. All right, you're gonna have to answer this because I really don't know the answer. Best Filipino spots.
Funny enough, the only Filipino spot near the beach that I like is in Encinitas. It's called Carinderia. Now it's
Ooh.
definitely pricier, but it's a sit down
Where's it at?
spot. It's off of Second. Is it Street? Second Street? Yeah,
Yeah.
Second. And it's kind of near this like potato spot. I forgot the name of the potato spot, but it's right there off of the main highway, and it's a really good Filipino spot. But you'll get a lot of the Filipino food in National City and Mira Mesa.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
in terms of sit down, I like that Carinderia spot, and then off Miramar Road, there's a place too. Can't think of the name, but it's the only Filipino spot in Miramar Road.
So if one were to go into a Filipino restaurant with very limited knowledge on a Filipino, I don't know why I had added an Enye in there, a Filipino menu, what would be some of the, like, what's the go-to? What type of items should you get?
I mean, first things first is like, do you like pork? Do you like, if you like pork, for me, I'd say you get the sizzling plates, get the sizzling sisig.
Okay.
You're gonna want to try the Filipino noodles, the pancit, and if you like a sour tamarind type soup,
Yeah.
we have a bowl called sinigang with oxtail in it and a bunch of different vegetables and potatoes. That's a really good thing to start with.
All right. Jaycation Filipino restaurant coming soon to San Diego. What are your thoughts on Bankers Hill area? I've had you start a lot, so I can start on this one if you want. I think it's great. I think when I think of Bankers Hill, I think of the true like business professional, someone that's doing really well. There's a lot of like new, I don't want to say high rises, but they kind of feel like high rises, like kind of penthouse condos and townhomes over there that overlook Balboa Park, and you can still walk to downtown and walk to Little Italy. And the one downside of Bankers Hill is you're right in the flight path. So you get planes coming very low. So you want to make sure you have double, or even sometimes you can get triple pane glass over there. There's rebates that you can get if you own a house because you're so close to the airport. So make sure that you have that covered. But I love Bankers Hill. I think if that's your lifestyle, then that's a really cool area. If I'm like trying to have a family, that's probably not the area that I'm going to go in.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I do like all the hikes that they have around that area. They have the Seven Bridges urban hike that crosses around there. You can see all these
Yeah.
cool bridges that were built in the early 1900s, some canyon trails that you can walk across. And Fifth Avenue has a lot of restaurants and cafes that bleed into Hillcrest, that area.
Yeah, you got a suspension bridge over there. That's pretty fun.
Yep.
What beach city in San Diego would you consider to be the most attractive to the younger crowds? What do you got, Jay?
To the younger crowds is hands down always going to be PB.
PB. Yep. Yeah, knew that was
that's SDSU capital of partying, and I'm a Aztec alumni, so I myself can attest to PB Shore Club and Lahaina's and all those good spots. So definitely Pacific Beach, hands down.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of important to note, like, most of PB where the youngsters are. Can I say? Am I old enough to say youngsters? I'm going to say youngsters. Where the youngsters are is like the two main streets. You have Grand and Garnett that run parallel, and then they kind of get closer to each other at the end. That's where a lot of the restaurants and bars and clubs are, and that's where a lot of the young people are going to be in PB. So there's still parts of Pacific Beach that you can go to and live in if you want it to be a little bit quieter, but still have kind of access to that stuff. If you go to the south or you go to the north part of Pacific Beach. So like right above the Crystal Pier, like if you go north of the Crystal Pier, it starts to blend into Bird Rock and La Jolla. that's a fantastic area if you want it to be a little bit more quiet, but still kind of feel like you're in the hustle bustle. But yeah, Pacific Beach. I think also OB, you kind of get that feel a little bit too, although it kind of blends into like, you know, I don't know, so just a kind of the weird crowd too. So
The
like,
hippie, far out Bill
yes,
Walton. Bill Walton is a buddy of mine. He's a legend here in San Diego,
yeah,
and yeah, that type of crowd.
yep. But those for sure would be the two. Pacific Beach would be number one, and then OB would be the second one. OB's a little bit more laid back, but still has a pretty young crowd for the most part. Almost moved out here to San Diego in 2017, but decided to move to Orlando because of pricing, housing, and income tax. You were looking in Del Mar and Temecula, and your wife wants to get a place here. Cool. Okay. So I'm curious because you do tune in a lot, and it's interesting to know your obsession with San Diego. So you still kind of have it in the corner of your eye, even though you moved to Orlando. I've heard a lot of great things about Orlando, though. All right. Ross said, stayed in Leucadia for a week and loved it. Was considering talking to me about buying a condo. Yeah, Ross and I have talked before. He sells these really cool cars that he has in his little profile pic there.
Nice.
Oh, you were here during the crappy weather. Oh, that sucks, man. Yeah, it can be a little bit hit or miss right now. We had a few days of like, we had June gloom coming a little bit early, which nobody likes. But this time of year, it could either be really nice or it can be meh.
Kind of windy lately too.
Yeah, definitely. I got a wind advisory on my phone 2 days ago, which you don't get here very often in San Diego. I don't think it was really that bad, but I got that. I feel like you need to say this.
It's a find out right here on. It's actually find out next on Jaycation. Right
Get it
here's
right,
close enough.
man. Come on.
Get it right.
I like that. Best area for a couple in their mid-20s to move to. Ooh, that's good. I need to think about this for a second. Yeah, Jay, if you got some spots off the top of your mind, shoot them off.
All right, let's say I was in my mid-20s. I have a girlfriend. We're moving in. Where do we want to live? Where do we want to live? That's a good question. I'd go back to Encinitas. Honestly, like I'd be done with the partying and try to go up to Encinitas and start a life over there.
You
But
know, I think what a lot of people do when they first move to San Diego, their thought is, I want to be in the hustle and bustle. I want to be in the city of San Diego. And then what happens to people that have lived here for a while, like you and me, is you start eventually thinking it's really nice in North County. It's a little bit slower. It's a little bit more quiet and just slower way of life. A little bit, I don't know. There's something really special about it that's definitely growing on me. But I think if you're just moving to San Diego and you're in your 20s, any of the beach communities, if you can make it happen, all the places we're talking about around Balboa Park, if you can make it happen, affordability is going to be a huge, huge aspect of that because buying a house is expensive. Renting is crazy right now. Like, you know, if you need a 3-bedroom in San Diego, get it, and you want it under $4,000 a month, like you can find it, but it's less and less common. Like it's pretty wild how expensive rent is getting here in San Diego. But the walkable communities is probably where I would point you to first. And then if you want a little bit more, if you're okay with a little bit more quiet lifestyle, but just have that, like, you know, things within a short distance to go to. Yeah. Like Jay was saying, Leucadia, Encinitas, Solana Beach are really great. Or even some of the areas that we had mentioned earlier, University City, all the areas surrounding Mission Trails Regional Park. So San Carlos, Tierra Santa, LA Garden.
There you go.
All those
And
places.
Kearney Mesa too. Kearney Mesa.
Oh yeah.
There's some spots around Kearney Mesa that I think that are nice for a mid-20s couple.
Yeah, it can get a little bit industrial over there, but there are a ton of like really cool restaurants in that area, in that community as
Convoy.
well. Yeah,
Yep.
Convoy. Some of the I was looking at, and I didn't save it when I came on here, but I was looking at kind of what a lot of like chefs in San Diego, what their favorite places and favorite neighborhoods for food would be. And just about everyone said Convoy is their number one. So if you want good food in San Diego, Convoy is definitely the place to go. Now, what I'm going to do next, because we're talking a lot about living in, that's interesting. We're talking about living in San Diego. Let's talk about the best places for food in San Diego. And all right, so I have this article here about the 10 best neighborhoods for eating out. We're going to do the same thing that we done in the last article. I'm going to go through it maybe a couple at a time, and then we can talk about if they're right, if they're wrong, or what they're missing. And I think I haven't even seen this yet. I can probably guess what their number one is going to be. Do you want to go ahead and guess what number one is going to be?
You want me to say it out loud?
Yeah, go for it.
They'll probably either say Convoy or Little Italy. I don't know. That's my guess.
It's for sure got to be one of those. There's no question about that. All right. So Little Saigon. So they're saying like City Heights area, which is interesting. It's definitely not an area that I would have thought about. A lot of like kind of hole in the wall restaurants over there. Hillcrest definitely has some good stuff, but not a huge volume of restaurants.
Yeah, it's only like a handful of them over there.
But they're all kind of like mom and pops, and like there's not really a lot of chains. Like there's some unique stuff over there.
There's a place called Inside Out that I went to. It was pretty cool. It's like in a courtyard of a bunch of like condominiums, and that was a really nice area.
Okay, cool. Nice. Rancho Santa Fe. That's definitely not one that I would have thought of for this list.
Who's doing this list so far?
Thrillist. This is Thrillist. I don't know that I'm agreeing with this list all that much. Mission Hills. I mean, if you're going to talk about the areas around Balboa Park, I don't know that Mission Hills would be on the top of the list. They do have some cool, like, smaller places over there. Shakespeare Pub and Grill. That's a rad spot. The Red Door. This must be old because Red Door doesn't even exist anymore. We're going to skip through that one. Come on, you guys. North Park. All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, that's more on the right track.
This is where the hipsters go to eat food and drink beer.
Oh, yeah. Some
cool restaurants over there. All right, here we go. Convoy all the way up at 5. Hey, Thrillist. This is ridiculous. What are some of your favorite restaurants over in the Convoy area?
Convoy. There's a Korean barbecue spot called Taeguki. It's right by Zion Market, and it's a lot like Mana Barbecue. I like that spot. There's a Korean barbecue chicken place called bb.q chicken that I like as well. Yeah, a lot of Korean food I like over there.
This is one of the areas that I really haven't spent that much time in. I know there's actually a cool little bar over there that you would drive by and not really think anything of it, that actually is really good craft beer. It's escaping me the name of the place. There's also some good like ramen over in that area too.
Yeah. Ultra Ramen. It's not on Convoy Street, but it's close enough.
Okay. Yeah, that is a very good one. That's one of my favorites for sure. I think I've had so much good ramen here in San Diego, but I always go back to Tajima. I just love Tajima.
Tajima, I'm with you. I second that. That's Tajima and Ultra are my. That's why I don't do a top 5 ramen spots in San Diego, because those are the only 2 I want. That's the only 2 I need.
There's like 4 Tajima locations, right? So you can just go to each location.
And they're all just as good. Yeah, they're all good.
All right, or Oceanside. So that's cool. I wasn't expecting that on this list, but that's fun.
I'd agree. I don't know about 4.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it should be more on the top of the list. Have you been to Wrench and Rodent Sebasta Pub?
I've heard of it, but have not gone there yet.
So that is my favorite sushi place in San Diego. The owner chef is British, and he was trained traditional like Japanese sushi, but he is not like restrained to Japanese flavors. It's like he uses local ingredients, he uses truffle oil, he uses all sorts of different things, and he's a very talented chef using really, really good quality ingredients. So you go in, you're going to spend a pretty penny, but it is so worth it. So they're the ones that own Shoots that I was just talking about not too long
Oh,
ago.
nice.
They use the same quality of fish on their kind of fast casual spot. All right, Del Mar number 3. What are they smoking over here at Thrillist?
I mean, Del Mar Heights has a few good,
Mar Heights.
trendy spots, I'd say. Like, they're more like chain for those chain restaurants over like in One Paseo.
Yeah.
You got those types of restaurants like North Italia and all that. But
Urban Trades and
yeah, but I don't know about putting it at 3. Sorry, Thrillist.
Yeah, those are totally areas worth checking out and hanging out and walking around in. But yeah, I don't know number 3. La Jolla, number 2. It should definitely be on the list, but I don't know that number 2. I don't hate it as much as the other ones, I guess.
Us people that do live here, regardless if we have money or not, we'll always say La Jolla is too pricey. They do have the nice, classy restaurants and the nice views and everything, but I wouldn't rank it as a foodie. First, foodie spot.
What if this list were best date night neighborhoods?
Then La Jolla should be at the top of the list for sure.
There you go. Best date night. And number 1,
right.
Little Italy. So Juniper and Ivy, crazy, crazy good restaurant. I think that was one of the first restaurants that popped in over there that was like celebrity chef status. Urban Wood, super good. I always forget the name of the steakhouse over there. Blanking on it.
I know what you're talking about. Because my cousin just told me that they had steak over there and they loved it.
All right. Well,
look on my phone real quick.
Yeah, look on your phone real quick. I don't know what it is about it, but I can never remember the name of it. But they had an incredible happy hour. I'm not 100% positive that they still have it. They have a really cool rooftop bar that's worth checking out. And they have like Wagyu sliders and all sorts of like really expensive meats on their happy hour menu for pretty dirt cheap compared to their regular menu.
Yeah, the steak thing's bothering me now.
We'll figure it out before the end of the episode, which is maybe coming up here soon.
There we go.
All right. What else should we talk about as far as neighborhoods? I think we did a pretty darn good job of going through the different neighborhoods in San Diego. Are there any other neighborhoods that we should have mentioned that we haven't mentioned yet?
Well, I found the steak place. It's called Born and Raised.
That's it. Born and Raised. Yep.
That's it.
Check it out. Happy hour. It's only, I think, from 4 to 5 p.m. So it's not a very extensive happy hour, but beautiful view. One of the best views of any happy hour in San Diego, and really good prices.
Great steaks. Amazing.
Great steaks.
Neighborhoods. Well, there's one thing that Thrillist really made me sad about is not including Miramar. We have Miramar where I live.
Yeah.
A lot of great food, and it's a huge neighborhood.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Let's see. We have a couple more questions here before we head out. We already said that one. Alex lived in San Diego from 1988 to 1990 and loved it. What were the best neighborhoods back then? Let us know. Like, where did you live? Where did you hang out? Because I'm sure it was a little bit different. Like North Park was not a place to hang out in. It was not a good place to be.
Oh, yeah.
Literally did not have the restaurants that we're talking about. Dan the Man, Pacific Beach. Jay, when you worked for the Braves, did you get to meet Hank Aaron?
That's really Star Platinum's such a super Jaycationer to get that tidbit that I worked for the Braves for a month. It was just spring training, and I did not get the chance to meet Hank Aaron. I would say that the 2 Braves legends that I met were still playing. So I would say it was John Smoltz and Chipper Jones. Met those guys.
Okay. I don't know any of those names, but it sounds legit. All right, here we go. What beach city in San Diego are more attractive to retirees? Ooh. Well, I think we could at least eliminate some right off the bat. Like we were just talking about Ocean Beach and Pacific Beach. I would not go to either of those areas. What are some on the top of the list for you, Jay?
Uh, the clear winner here would be Carlsbad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Carlsbad for retirees. Yeah, I agree. It has
Yeah.
it's very it's you still have access to other places, but it's very sleepy. It has a really kind of cute little downtown area. You have that's it. That's it right there. I was thinking maybe Point Loma as well, but the getting in and out of Point Loma stinks. But I think that there's some nice aspects of that. And I think you nailed it. I'm gonna go with that.
I think Carlsbad is also, for those single retirees looking for some late life love. I think Carlsbad has a lot of great social scenes for them over there too.
Now, for that answer, I would probably put Del Mar at the top of the list.
Okay, Del Mar, yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
Yeah. So the
I'll second
retirees
that.
were like maybe not retired, but like almost retired. Then you could go to Del Mar.
Yep,
I think that's
Del
probably
Mar.
a good best walkable area near downtown. What do you think, Jay?
I mean, are we already saying that Little Italy is downtown? Is that?
Yeah, we've already said Little Italy. Well, we'll just say right now, Little Italy is probably going to be number one. Besides Little Italy, where else would you recommend?
I'd say Golden Hill.
Golden Hill, yeah, for sure. Golden Hill or Bankers Hill. So those are going to be the two that are kind of closest to downtown, but you still have to go through the, I guess, over under the freeway
Freeway,
to get.
the hills.
Yeah, but you have Balboa Park there, so you have all the walkable communities around Balboa Park, and then you have the entire park itself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's great. All those areas are wonderful because of that. All right. What's the medium income necessary for a 4-bedroom home in Oceanside? Ooh, that is a tough one. 4-bedroom home in Oceanside, probably start if you want a decent neighborhood, move-in friendly. You're probably talking at least 800,000. You might be able to find just a little bit less than that. And then, it's hard to say what the income is for that because interest rates are all over the place. And it depends on how much you can put down. There's a lot of factors on that. But if you go onto like Zillow or Redfin, you can type in what your income is and what you would have for a down payment, and it will tell you what you can afford. And so that's a good place to start. But somewhere around I would just say plan for 800,000. It might even be more than that, depending on exactly your lifestyle and what you're looking for. But yeah. All right. I have one more question on neighborhoods for you, Jay. What are the neighborhoods to avoid in San Diego? So actually, my number one video on YouTube is the worst neighborhoods in San Diego. And people always love negative stuff. So if someone wants to live in San Diego, what would be the neighborhoods you would say to avoid?
This is awesome that I'm saying this on your channel because I try to stay away from the negative stuff. So I haven't really talked about this on my channel. I may have like mentioned some neighborhoods, but yeah. I mean,
you can always do
what?
the thing where you turn like a negative into a positive, like maybe this area because it has high taxes or like, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Now let's be honest here.
There we go.
You got like Logan Heights, Skyline, parts of El Cajon. Yeah, around those areas for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and pull some of the stuff on the map. So the areas to avoid in San Diego. All right. So you have Central San Diego, Metro San Diego, City of San Diego, all that stuff right here. So the areas that kind of you're talking about would be just south of downtown San Diego, south of La Mesa, south of the college area, underneath the 94 freeway. You have National City, Encanto, Lincoln Park, Logan Heights. These are just not really known for being the best neighborhoods in San Diego. And then I think it kind of starts to get nice again when you pass the 54 freeway and you start to get into Chula Vista. So you're going to have, and there's some nice and not so nice parts of Chula Vista, But for the most part, like the east side is where you're going to see a lot of the new construction and really nice new communities are being built up. But yeah, this is kind of the pocket here that, like, a lot of times when I'm talking to clients, this is the pocket I'm talking about. That I guess the best way to put it is when my clients are looking for a nice house in San Diego, these are the areas that they tend to not like the most.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And if you want to go north a little bit, Escondido, there's parts of Escondido that are nice, but there's also a big part of Escondido that's a little questionable. And that's kind of where the merge is, where the 78 and the 15 is. Kind of,
Yep,
yeah, where the Escondido is. That's there's some questionable neighborhoods around there too.
for sure. Awesome. And then the last thing you were saying were parts of El Cajon. Yeah, I think once you start to get a little far east, it's also the areas that a lot of people don't really find desirable for a lot of reasons. For
Yeah,
the, um, just for the feel of the communities, how well kept they are, how high the schools are rated. It also starts to get hot the farther east you go. So if it's 80 degrees close to the beach, it could be 95 when you get like a little bit too far east. So yeah, I agree with that. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Well, dude, this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you being on my channel. Your channel has been blowing up for good reason because you love San Diego and you do a really good job of showing it off. So I think we are all very thankful for that. And yeah, let's do this again sometime, man.
hey, definitely count me in, and we got to get you on a Jaycation episode one of these days too.
Yeah, you got it anytime. Or, if we want to actually go out and eat some food in San Diego, I am all in for that. So I'm way into that. Let's go eat some good food and talk about it. But if you guys are not currently following Jay, go to his channel, just type in Jaycation. You will absolutely find it. And there's some really, really good content on there. Jay, my man, appreciate it. You have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it.